Hello and welcome to episode 65 of the Parapod. You're here with your hosts, Mark and Owen, yet again. We're back at it. We're doing it again. And how are you getting on, Owen?
As you can see, cozy as fuck.
You've kind of perfected the kind of cozy suit of armor. You're like the, what's your man's name? Voltron or whatever? Like, you know, the Power Rangers guy that they all combine into one.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, it's not Voltron, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I
You're like that, but with like soft clothing.
We got the shorty shorts on. We got the big oversized sleepy. What the fuck is this called?
Dressing gown.
Dressing gown. Sleeping gown is like that's not what it's called.
Sleeping gown.
I got the house coat on.
The house coat. Oh, that's controversial.
Obviously not.
Controversial.
Obviously not.
Very left-footed in here right now.
Do you know anyone that calls it a house coat?
No.
No.
Well, that's kind of a northern thing, isn't it?
Is it?
Proddy thing, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I thought it was. I thought that was the kind of divide. I don't know
House
anyone.
coat.
House coat, yeah. It's like, to be fair, it makes sense.
I can see it.
Yeah. Dressing gown doesn't make any sense.
My dressing
literally.
gown is kind of just a very, very fluffy duffel coat.
Yeah. And you can't go out with it on, you know, really.
No, because it's too cozy for the outside world. It's too pure to be out there.
That's true, yeah. They
You know?
get damaged.
Damaged goods. But I'm pea cozy right now. I had the slippers on, but they got wet.
God bless.
God bless.
Rest in peace.
Might get new slippers though this year for Christmas. Who knows? But you have to be cozy because we're talking about some very, very stressful films.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have, you know, they're stressful, but they're also kind of dreamy, you know. I think that fits in with the whole dressing. Maybe a sleeping gown is a kind of Freudian slip.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's the kind of vibe we're trying to evoke right now for the rest of this episode anyway.
Hopefully you can hear the coziness of my sleeping gown.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that came up. I don't know if it would.
I think it does.
We'll boost the sound really loud. Really loud.
Just turn into an ASMR podcast. Okay. So what have you been up to this week? Well, it actually sounds amazing.
I watched a movie. I watched what has been regarded as the worst film of 2021.
I'd never heard of this film.
No one really has. Well, like a few people have. Like a lot of people have, but enough for it to be recognized.
What's it on?
It's on Amazon. No, it's on Now TV.
Oh, right.
Oh, it's on Now TV. Cosmic Sin. Bruce Willis.
Is that a description or the title?
That is a description and a title. Many a joke on Letterboxd has been made about cosmic sin is a cosmic sin. Like when you look
too
up,
obvious, is it?
when you look up cosmic sin, literally every review that mentions the name cosmic sin, and a lot of them are just cosmic sin is a cosmic sin.
It makes sense.
1.5 stars, 1 star, whatever.
What stars would you give this?
Oh, this is a solid half-star film.
Half a star. That's pretty.
Half a star.
That's a
that
real
now.
condemnation.
Did I give that a half star?
You don't even give half stars, and you're here giving it a half star.
I give half stars for the worst of the worst films that I've seen.
Right.
The worst. Cosmic Sin is one of the worst films I have ever seen. It is so nothing. There is like no redeeming qualities of this film.
Who's in it?
Bruce Willis, Frank Grillo.
Frank Grillo.
Yeah, do you know him?
Let's see.
He's in Avengers and stuff like that as well.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
he really looks like a Frank Grillo.
he does. Like, yeah, that name suits.
Yeah.
He's in it, and then a bunch of whoever's. Like, I watched this film on Friday, and I can't remember a fucking thing about it, and it's
God.
Monday.
That's not good. That's not a good sign for
No.
a film.
Really, really bad. I don't know what happened in the ending of this film.
What's it about? What's the premise?
Oh, Jesus, right. The premise is Bruce Willis is a war criminal.
All right.
He is the year like 2364, whatever the fuck year it is. Earth has colonized Mars, and we've gone past. I think we colonized Mars. Can't remember where we colonized. We colonized Mars, and then we colonized somewhere else, and now we have the ability to like intergalactic travel. And there was an uprising, and Bruce Willis, Are you okay after that one?
Yeah, okay. Bruce Willis. What does it mean?
Bruce Willis is a war criminal because what he did was he dropped a nuke, like a massive nuke, and murdered 70 million people or something like that. He was a general and he just like authorized this nuke to go off and just annihilated 70 million people.
What? Why?
Because
there's an uprising.
Because there was an uprising, so it's got to be squashed. The ends justified the means.
Yeah. God.
So he's this war criminal, and for some reason they need him back for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was, but they need
last job.
They need him back for one last job, and we're introduced to this
Wait,
character.
why would you call him back?
I have no idea. I don't know why. Because they're dealing with I have no idea.
Really short staffed.
Oh jeez, they're on the dregs, man.
Yeah.
When we're introduced to our character, he's sitting at a bar, he's drinking whiskey. Someone's like, "Hey, you," and they start on him, and he just kicks the shit out of all of them. And then
This is Bruce Willis.
This is Bruce Nillis
Yeah.
showing up, and
Isn't he like 80 years old?
he's like in his 70s, I think now.
Yeah.
Man, he does not give a shit anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Like he is not trying.
Die
at all.
Hard 5 was the biggest indictment. It was the biggest, like, this guy is a pure passenger. He's doing this for the check. You could see the dollar signs in his eyes as he was acting in that film.
I was looking at his letterbox. If you considered Split a good movie, Split is the last good movie Bruce Willis has been in.
Was he in that?
He was in the very last shot of that film.
Yeah.
If you don't consider Split a good movie, Looper is the last time Bruce Willis was in a good movie.
2013.
Yeah.
Looper is actually really good.
Looper is very good.
Mm.
Looper is pretty good.
How did he do it? Like,
He hasn't been in a good movie for the guts of 10 years.
man, we should do Looper. I forgot about that film.
We should watch that. That's a pretty cozy movie as well.
Is it?
No, it's not. It's not at all. But even in that, he's not even doing. He's just like a Terminator basically in that film.
Yeah, he's not doing much.
With this, he does not give a shit. Some army sergeant dude comes up and he's like, special forces, yada yada yada, sergeant, like captain or sergeant, whatever, general, his name, whatever his title was. We need you back for one last job. Is basically what he says, and they bring him in. But like, I don't know what they have him for because they're dealing with something that they didn't know. He ends up being used for something else that I don't think they knew was gonna happen because so they've made first contact with the aliens, or like what they think could be an alien. They think they did this. And they're like, oh, we need this general, this like psychotic general, just to watch over this and make sure this thing goes up to scratch. First contact is really important with aliens. We don't know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Get this war criminal in here.
This maniac.
And sure enough, things go bad, and the aliens are parasitic zombies basically, and they take over someone. They like inject their blood into someone. They're kind of like the Thing, in a similar way that the Thing spreads. But like that's about it. It's really really bad. Like the special effects in this film are so bad. There's nothing sci-fi in this film. This is a film where like that's bullshit. There is sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
There's a scene where they fly through space, and the special effects for that scene look okay. Like you're like, this is clearly not Marvel doing this, but like it's okay. But the stuff at the start of the film, the majority of the film takes place either in a warehouse or in a forest.
Why?
To minimize outdoor sci-fi environments.
To trim down the budget.
To make sure that you don't have a sequence where like you're meant to show like the modern like sci-fi cityscape, because they're obviously like they're like near they're in the future. We're not seeing any futuristic cities or anything like that. So everything is neon lighting to indicate how sci-fi it is.
Yeah.
Some of the costumes look good, a lot of them don't. A lot of them look really bad and look really cheap. Yeah, so the thing about the war criminal committing a genocide, right? There's like a repeating motif, or like not even motif, like argument kind of theme that comes up in the film that is like about genocide. And because this film doesn't try with anything. It only keeps indicating to like this message of genocide, and like, where's this film gonna land on about genocide? Because they're all about like, oh, bring
what side of the fence?
like what side of the fence is this film gonna end up on? And like, because the Bruce Willis immediately is just like prep a nuke. Like, as soon as they bring him in, he's like, prep a nuke. If we're dealing with forces that we don't know anything about, we need ultimate destruction in case of the worst case scenario. He's flat out like, I don't know who you are, so I must carry a gun with me, basically.
Yeah.
And so they're just like, well, he's in charge, I guess. So yeah, prep a nuke. So they prep this, like, these are like future nukes. The nuke that they end up using at the end of this film basically wipes out a solar system by combining with something else. It's a bomb that can kill 70 million people. Like, it's a big bomb. So he's like, bring the nuke because we're gonna need it. And because the whole thing is also like this, like, what do we do on first contact? Like, is it friendly? Is it going to be a friendly contact? Is it going to be war? Like, there's his ex-wife, I think she is like making the arguments about that, like saying like, no, don't shoot there. This is first contact. We got to make a good impression. Meanwhile, one of the aliens, like the parasitic zombie aliens, is after picking up someone and melting his face with acid, and she's there saying, don't shoot, and you're just like, And then by the end of the film, they're just like, we're not here. Like, the aliens say to them, we're not here to make peace or anything like that. We're here to take you over. So your message, therefore, is like, sometimes genocide is okay.
Always be wary of strangers.
Because it condemns the nuking of civilians. Like, that's the whole thing, that why he was discharged. Is like, you nuked innocent people.
Yeah.
But like,
kind of unforgivable.
But what if you were to just nuke an entire species of people, but that they were all trying to kill us? Yeah. So that's okay. You can do that.
They were all evil. Very, very simple. Very black and white.
Because, like, I feel like because the film just is so lazy in every aspect, it ends up accidentally. I don't think that the message was to have that, but because the film is so lazy and the script is so bad that they just didn't realize that this half-baked idea of a theme of genocide might end up with us saying, genocide's okay.
It has its ups and downs.
Yeah, like everything.
You know, comme ci, comme ça. Maybe it's prepping us, you know? Maybe it's something.
Maybe it's a film from the future.
Yeah. Maybe it's like, you know, the lads in CIA were like, all right, it's time to start, you know, building the base. Mm-hmm. Let them know what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, we need. Yeah, this is our first.
We have to do it. 70 million people. Think about it. It's not that many people. There's 8 billion people on this planet.
We can spare a few.
Yeah, it's not that bad, you know? That doesn't sound too good. Is the cosmic sin referred to in the title, is that the genocide?
Nope.
Isn't that? What is it? It's just cosmic sin?
It's just a cool title.
It actually is, yeah.
Cosmic sin.
Cosmic sin. Out this summer.
And like, there's like a ragtag, kind of, not like a ragtag, but like you're like a special force ops team that come together, and man, they're hitting all the notes. You got the son that needs to like prove himself to his dad, who's also in the force, who's the leader of the force. Uh-huh. We got nurse, we got mechanic, and like that is quite literally their character. Like, that is all that they are. Yeah. They are the son. There's nothing else to him. He is the son that wants to live up to the dad. She is the nurse. She is the medic. He's the gun guy.
The gun guy.
He's the big gruff.
The muscle.
The muscle, yeah.
You need the muscle in one of these films, yeah.
Oh, and there's no chemistry between them at all, and there's so much banter, and none of it. It's all awkward. They're all bad actors, and I don't like to like say that about actors sometimes, but Jesus, these are awful.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis is dog shit. Bruce Willis is like the best of them, and he is dog shit in this film. You know, other fellow Frank Grillo, who they like,
who's he? Which one is he?
He's the dad of the guy. He's the leader of the squad, basically. He is in the film for, I swear to God, 20 minutes. This is like a hour and a half film. He's in it for 20 minutes. He's all over the posters. He quite literally gets he gets stuck in space, and then 30 minutes happens, and it's then revealed, oh no, he's still alive.
Yeah.
And he's literally floating in space throughout the majority of his on-screen presence. Because it's an awful movie. It's like, so bad.
So we can't afford to have him more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just put him in space or something. Have him float around for a bit. And then he'll come back, you know?
And then he'll come back and make the ultimate sacrifice.
Oh, is that the kind of thing? Yeah.
Oh, it's bad, man.
That's strange. That is strange.
Like, and the week before, I watched what I would consider... Cosmic Sin is worse. Like, Cosmic Sin is the way worse than this other film that I watched. But the other film that I watched was Karen. 2021's Karen. About a Karen. Murderous.
Oh, wait.
A murderous, racist Karen.
Is this... No, I don't know this one. What's this on? Is this based on the meme?
Well, like the idea of basically
the idea of a Karen,
a Karen,
like a mom or like a middle-aged woman who's
a
asked for the manager.
real bitchy white lady,
and it's just about like is it a horror film?
Yeah,
what is it? Social commentary?
It's a thriller.
Oh, okay,
with the subtlety of a rock.
Oh right.
It's way more entertaining than Cosmic Sin. Cosmic Sin is so boring. Karen is never boring, but it is a specific taste of awful.
Is this by that guy? You know the guy did the one about where he pretended to be a black lady on the radio?
No, it's not. No, it's
it
not.
Sounds like I thought that was
LaQuisha.
That was LaQuisha.
Jesus, that film. That's worse than these two films.
You watched that, didn't you?
I did. I regret that film is nearly 2 hours long. I regret that so much. That film is
you can never
so
get that
bad.
back.
No, Jesus, no. So many hours wasted.
Analyzing LaQuisha.
No, the guy that made this film was called like Coke Johnson or something like that.
What?
It's for
Coke
like the
Johnson.
I think it's like the BTE channel or something that produced it.
Like the black entertainment thing.
Yeah. Because like it's directed by a black person. It's about a racist
Coke Johnson.
Coke Johnson. Yeah, I think that's his name. Yeah, it's a mad name.
Like you can't just pick your name like that, you know.
Coke Johnson.
Clearly, it wasn't called Coke Johnson. Like you can't just make up a name. Come on, like that's funny though. Is it good?
No, it's like the most subtle thing in the film, right? Is where one of our leads goes into our protagonist. There's like a black couple there, the protagonist. They move in next door to Karen, and yeah, she's a murderous Karen. You can guess where it goes. But her brother is also a super racist cop, who's part of the elite brotherhood. Who's a like
the clan, like
basically the clan,
but in
like,
the police.
In the police, like a group of like officials, like judges, lawyers, like there's loads of people that are in the brotherhood, and they all watch out for each other.
That exists.
That does exist. That exists. Like that's definitely like that's
a real.
That's a real thing, and like that's why the film I feel really bad because like if this idea was done well, it would be a pretty good film.
Decent concept.
Awful film. This height of subtlety in Karen is the protagonist goes into her toilet and she has a little soap dispenser that's got a Confederate flag on it, and that is the height of subtlety that this film gets to. Come
on. It sounds like something. What's his name? Oh, what's his name? You know the guy did Get Out.
Jordan Peele.
It sounds like something he would do.
I am not joking when I say that the top review on Letterboxd for this for Karen is this is the wish.com of Jordan Peele horror films.
Yeah. It sounds like a premise that he would do. You know,
which is probably where they got the idea from. Let's make a super cheap, super bad, super TV movie Jordan Peele film.
Yeah. You know, they probably made it off with a decent amount of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not good. How many stars?
That's 1 star.
Is it 1 star?
1 star.
Twice as good as Cosmic Sin.
Yes.
That's not bad.
That is how the ratings work.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh no.
Karens. Did you know there's a Karen liberation army in Burma?
What?
It's an ethnic group in Burma.
Oh.
I was just reading about that the other day. They're called the Karens. It's like a little ethnic group in Myanmar, I think it's called these days, but like they're they were fighting against the government for decades. There was an insurgency there. There was a civil war between the Burmese government and the Karens.
Mad.
And the Karen Liberation Army. I thought that was hilarious.
I am just imagining an army of Karens.
Yeah, just like just like middle-aged white women with that haircut in the jungle. We want to speak to the manager.
Let me speak to the manager of your nation.
Yeah, they lost though.
Yeah.
They lost.
Oh, well.
But I thought that was funny. Or not that they lost, but I thought that was a funny coincidence. But yeah.
What have you been watching this week?
I had another dip into Fellini.
Back in the Fellini.
I didn't hate Fellini as much as you didn't hate Fellini, but like
I was just disappointed.
Yeah, I can vibe with that as well. I can sympathize with your disappointment. So I was like looking at the different things that he'd done. I was thinking about watching La Dolce Vita.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
3 hours long. I was like,
That's
I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that.
I do want to watch it, but it is 3 hours long.
I was going to watch it, but
I feel like that's more something I would like.
It's way more conventional. It's like his neo-realist, I think.
I just don't want something that's super personal to Fellini, if that's what he's meant to be like. If he's like it's just insufferable.
Yeah, that was kind of like extremely... It was extremely pretentious.
Yeah.
But I watched another film that he did after 8.5. 8.5 is what, 63, 64, 65, around that, mid-60s.
Somewhere in
Satyricon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Satyricon is another film that he did in 1969, so it's quite a bit afterwards. And I saw it on Mubi. I was scrolling through Mubi a few days a while ago, and I added it to my watch list. I was like, it just looked good, like the little preview and stuff. But then Mubi removed it. I was like, oh fuck's sake! But I found a place to watch it. I had a look at it, and it's not about Fellini, so that's a great start.
That's a good start.
It's nothing to do with Fellini. In fact, it's the exact opposite of that. It's the exact reverse. It's an adaptation of an ancient Roman epic poem. There's only a few epic poems from Rome that survive. Like all the ones we can think of, like the Odyssey and the Iliad and all that stuff. That's all Greek stuff from way before Rome, or
which
like a different place.
Which is mad because it's before Rome. And you think
that's a long time ago. Yeah,
that's a long time ago. Rome was around for like a while.
Yeah. This is actually, it's set in the 1st century AD, so that's a long time ago. But in Iliad times, that's like they were thinking of the Iliad the same way we thought of the Iliad. You know, this is like an ancient tale. But it's an adaptation of a story that was written and set in the 1st century AD, called the Satyricons, written by a guy called Gaius Petronius, which is a very Roman name, obviously.
That is
this guy's not Homer.
Most Roman name.
You know, he's not Homer. He's not like Aeschylus and all this stuff. But it only survives in fragments. There's only bits that survive. There's only there's one called the Golden Ass, which is a full epic poem that does survive. I think it's the only
full epic poem.
Yeah. It's the
Golden Ass.
The Golden Ass, and you can imagine what it's about. The Romans, those perverts, and you can see it in the Satyricon, because Satyricon is extremely perverted, and it's known as a really kind of valuable document of what life was like for like the plebeians, like the lower class of Rome back in the day. So it's like seen as a historical document as much as like an artistic kind of artifact. Fellini decided to adapt it for whatever reason.
Because he could. Why not?
Because he was Italian.
He's like fucking Fellini.
He's like, I am a Roman.
Are you going to say no to Fellini?
No, not in that state, you know. He was on a roll, apparently. But the whole thing is he's adapted the fragments of this ancient story and he's filled in the gaps.
Yeah.
As with the purpose of kind of like accentuating the surrealism. Because by this stage, obviously with 8.5, he's made his turn from neo-realism into a surrealist kind of trip, where he's just like combining. It's like a super reality of dream and what's actually happening and reality. And so he's combining these things and like sort of like blurring the lines between what's real and what's not. And in Satyricon, he's blurring the lines between what is in the story, which isn't real itself, and what like the sort of the historical subconscious imagines Rome to be.
Yeah.
And the fact that it wasn't that, and that it's something else. It's like sort of like leaning into the whole alien kind of aspect to it. It's marketed as it's like described as a historical science fiction, which is I think was what sort of attracted me to it in the first place.
Yeah.
Which is like a really cool kind of concept, like historical sci-fi, where it's bringing out the alienness of the past, which is something that is I find extremely interesting. Like you have that in like folk horror. Folk horror is very, very big into that, and that's
like basically the 101 thing you need to know about folk horror.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the past is
the
unknown.
Unknown is scary.
yeah, and this is leaning into the unknown in the gaps between the surviving fragments of this story. And the story is about this guy called some mad Roman name. It's this guy called Encolpius, and the whole sort of premise is he has this boyfriend Gittone. Gittone, and Gittone runs off with this other fella called Achilles, who is like Encolpius's mate.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like this spurned lover, so he's very jealous, and they go off in these mad capers. It's kind of like, it's the same kind of structure to like the Odyssey, where he's just running off into like all these random little vignettes and these little scenes, and you're just kind of along the way with him, like all the while, both in the story, like the document itself and the film, you're kind of getting a real sense of like the world that existed back then, or the world that like Fellini imagines in Satyricon, which is as real as any conception we have of Rome, you know. Actually more real, because you know the way we have the marble, like our vision of Rome, we have the marble statues, like, you know, Caesar, he's like he's got no pupils, he's like, it's just togas, everything's pure white, it's all real austere and stuff, even like the marble columns.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, it's like the dinosaur thing. Like we imagine dinosaurs as the things from...
As reptiles, as
the things from Jurassic Park, but in reality they're just giant chickens, probably, with feathers and stuff.
Mad colours.
Yeah, mad colours, like all these, all this differentiation and all this like kind of diversity. And it's the same with Rome, like all those statues and all the, like the giant columns and the pillars and the Pantheon, the Pantheons in Greece, but like all those old structures that you see in like... in Italy, they all would have been painted these fantastic colours back in the day.
Bright blues, reds, yellows.
The exact same as we have today, you know. They had just as much like an artistic kind of instinct back then with colour and design as we do now.
Yeah.
And even the way you have, even the statues, like you don't see the fact that they would have been coloured, like they would have been like skin colour, like clothing colouring. And they wore a lot of makeup as well, so they have...
That's the thing that I always heard about, like, was that the idea that... like the fact that we don't really teach that, the fact that we don't have them like that anymore, is like an idea that purity, pure whiteness, that's aesthetically pleasing, that's what's great.
Yeah.
You'd be racist.
It's a bit racial.
Considering that, you know, Italians weren't treated as white for a very long time.
Exactly. You ever go to Italy? It's like they don't look like the marble statues, you know? It's like no one does. But like that's a big thing about this film. It's been described variously as the queerest film of all time. In the sense,
Rome was pretty gay.
It was pretty gay, and the whole thing is about a gay guy, or he's not gay, but like he's like bi anyway. Well, that's the whole thing. It was all very fluid back then.
Mm-hmm.
He has a boyfriend, Gittone, who's 16 years old, which is a bit, but what can you do? And
it was Rome.
It was Rome. It was back in the day, you know. And like the whole thing is about him kind of struggling with, obviously being like a spurned lover, and that everything goes along with that, but also it's like he's like impotent for a while. There's like his relations with women, and sort of struggling with the fact that he's so kind of hung up on Gittone, and like how that relates to his relationships with the other men and like the people above him in the social strata of Rome, and so it's pretty cool in that kind of way. And at the same time, you have these like insane, like as I was saying about the colouring, like the diversity and all that stuff. Like,
I was with that. I assume this is in colour, yeah.
Oh yeah. 8.5 is like very monochromatic, like black and white, but it looks good, but it's very black and white.
Yeah,
it's a very black and white film. Satyricon is the exact opposite.
That's what you want.
It's extremely, very, very colourful. It has like costumes. Everyone's wearing makeup. Like
opulence.
Opulent. Yeah, exactly. That's the exact word. Like it's like the set design and all this. The scenery is like these huge sets, like really kind of ambitious kind of like set pieces.
Like, you ever see that film Cleopatra?
No,
it's like 4 hours long, whatever, the old one.
Yeah, the one with Elizabeth Taylor or something.
Oh, yeah,
I never saw it.
It's on Disney Plus, and I just like clicked on. I was like, I bet you the sets and all are mad in this film. Yeah, they're mad.
Yeah, wasn't that the most expensive film of all time back in the day?
Man, you click onto it, Jesus, you can believe it. Like this, such a huge.
Yeah. But that's what you want from your historical dramas.
Yeah, your historical epics.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a historical epic anyway, you know, but it's not just about it in the, like, another way to have like like a recent example, like Exodus, Gods and Kings. Remember the one with Christian Bale?
Yeah.
Where
What was that one that came out before that?
Noah.
No, it was Kings and it was a really bad film.
I can't remember.
It was a really bad film. I can't remember who's in it. It was another one that was in Egypt.
In Egypt. Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't Exodus though, but I think it was like Gods and Kings as well or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that was more like a fantasy kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, with Exodus, you had the like it's very much a biblical historical drama. It's based on a text, and it's trying to be historically accurate in any way. Satyricon is very, very different in the sense that it's not trying to be historically accurate because there's no like clear
you
sense.
Can't be what the accurate actually is.
Yeah. Like, we have the facts and we have like the artifacts and we have like written documents and like records and stuff like that. But we don't have a feel. We don't have
you don't have a memory of it.
Yeah. We don't have a vibe for what it was actually like and like what the people how they kind of interacted with each other. And it kind of evokes it in a cool way with like there's so many languages in the film. Like I had subtitles on, but half the film I couldn't understand because it's like it's in Latin, it's in French, it's in German. Like there's English in it at one point. It's just like, but it's like that's just like the diversity of the Roman Empire. It's that kind of, it's just evoking that kind of multiplicity where you could like go from one town to the other and they'd be speaking a different language and have like a different kind of dress code, a different kind of
culture.
Way. Different culture, different cults, different way of seeing the world. I thought it was really cool in terms of historicizing the Roman
diversity
Empire.
Of it,
yeah, and
because you always imagine it being very unified, but
it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. That's the reason why it collapsed.
That's the reason why it got so big as well, because they're able to go to people and be like, "Here, we'll protect you, and we'll give you all this stuff, and we'll bring prosperity to your lands. But you don't have to be Italian.
Yeah,
you don't have to be, but we prefer you to be. But you don't have to be. You know, like in Britain and all that stuff. That's why they're able to succeed so much. A lot like the Brits, you know. That's what you need with an empire. And then it plays into the whole, the textuality or the text itself. Because the film is obviously an adaptation, and it's very much aware that it's an adaptation, so making things up.
I love films that do that. Like you're aware of the fact that you're an adaptation.
Yeah, that it's not a perfect reading, because there can't be a perfect reading. First of all, because we obviously can't know what Rome was like, and obviously also because the text doesn't exist. Yeah, it only exists in parts, and so Fellini is, bringing up the imagination of the viewer of like the collective imagination.
Of what Rome was, yeah.
Of what Rome was, and he's like bringing that he brings it to the fore at the end. It's very cool. Like the film just stops at the end.
Oh, mad!
It's very good. It's very good. It just stops and then it fades into like this kind of mosaic, and you just see Encolpius and Gittone and Aschultus and all the other characters on like in the ruins or on the walls of this ruin.
Yeah.
And like they're in like mosaic form. And then it just drifts back and it's just like the Mediterranean in the background. Very, very cool way of just, driving home the point. It's like this is just a kind of like a mood piece. Yeah. It's
just a story.
This is just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Which I really liked. It's something that you can just watch.
Yeah.
And not be like, what happened in this scene?
Yeah.
Like,
what did this mean?
Yeah. Or you can read that if you want, but like the plot doesn't matter at all. It just doesn't matter.
Which is what you want. Pure vibes. That's all that you want.
That's it. It's Italian, Roman vibes. I'll take it. Fellini did a great job in this one.
That sounds very good.
Surrealist masterpiece.
Because obviously I do want to go back into Fellini. Like I do.
We have to. We have a duty.
Because like so many like great film directors and stuff like that are directly inspired by Fellini's work. Some of which we will be talking about later on in this episode.
Yeah, no, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah, give or take. So obviously, like, Fellini has, it's not just, he has other films other than 8.5, Even though 8.5 is widely considered his best one, he does have other films. So that is worth checking out.
Ah, definitely, yeah.
It'd be like,
so many.
It'd be like just watching, I don't know, fucking, Werner Herzog, what's that one called? The big one, the big epic.
Fitzcarraldo.
It'd be like watching It'd be like watching Fitzcarraldo because it's like 2.5 hours. Watching that and then just being, I didn't like that. I don't like
Yeah.
I don't like Werner Herzog.
Hands off, yeah.
It's just like, you haven't watched any of his documentaries? You haven't seen any of the other stuff that he's done?
Yeah, a lot of people don't even like Fitzgerald, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Fair enough.
You got to go in. You got to go have a look around. I feel like if enough people are saying it, it's got to be true.
Yeah, exactly. At least there has to be a truth to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, because I'm glad that you said that. Because I do want to watch La Dolce Vita, but also
It's 3 hours
long. Like, how long is this one?
Satyricon, 2 hours.
That's manageable.
Reasonable, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's and like as I said, you don't have to be glued to the screen because
It's
it
a
is.
vibe.
Yeah, half it's made up and it's episodic as well. So, like the text itself is something like 200 chapters, I think.
Mad.
Like all the stories are like disconnected. You know,
Yeah.
it's just kind of written on the fly, I think, or it's like people obviously just made it up as they were saying it, and then someone wrote it down. He was like, "Oh, that's class," you know.
Yeah, I'll use that.
I'll just record that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, good vibes though. Good vibes.
Good vibes.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more. I liked it more than 8.5 anyway.
I will definitely I'll
was
definitely
more
watch it now. If you like it more than 8.5,
I did,
I'll
yeah.
watch it. I'll watch it.
It'd be hard to find a place good to see because Mubi like removed it obviously.
I think it's on other movies though. If you use the VPN,
Ah, right. Is it? I
Uh,
couldn't find it.
I'm sure. Like, there's a website called What's on Movie.
Yeah, I looked it up on that.
Then
It's not on. I couldn't find anything anyway, but it is on YouTube. But it's like 3 or was it 480 or something like that. It wasn't very good quality.
yeah, that's it.
I think it'd be perfect for like a really high def. Like if this is on in like IFI or like what's it called, Lighthouse, I'd probably go see it
that
like
they're the places to do that.
for the big screen,
For the
like
big
high
screen.
quality. Yeah.
Because even like when I watched Seven Seal, I watched it on YouTube, and even with that, you're like 480. You can it's an old film, but it's the 480 is doing it no favors.
Yeah. It doesn't hit the same.
So that is a film that I want to like rewatch at some stage. At least see like clips of it in HD,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
because that's not fair to the film.
yeah. He's earned that. You know.
Yeah.
Bergman or whatever.
Bergman, big man
Fellini.
Bergman,
Yeah. The boys.
Feline dog,
Yeah, Filoni,
Filoni, Baloney,
Tony Filoni.
Tony
Coming up with-
Soprano.
Yeah, the lads.
Oh Jesus! Talking about the lads. Talk about one of our lads, one of our big boys, Lynch.
Oh, Big Daddy Lynch.
Let's talk about a bit of Lynch
Big Dave-o.
before we get on to our recommended film.
Big Dave.
Big Dave,
Yeah. Yeah, I watched Eraserhead.
and I rewatched Eraserhead, which
Ooh,
we've actually talked about on the podcast before.
we have indeed. But
But-
we're repeating the past. It's a Lynch.
But
It's
you-
a Lynch motif.
But it was actually deleted because it was part of that episode where the mic
Ah.
wasn't plugged in.
We also did that with Mulholland Drive as well. That must have been the same one. Because I remember I talked about Ronnie Rocket for like 10 minutes. And then we had to delete the whole thing.
Yeah.
I remember that. Because I was just...
Fuck's sake, that
I was just
episode,
thinking
that
about
episode was good.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was like, I feel like we talked about it before. But, we have, but we haven't.
Yeah, we haven't in full.
Mm.
Because I watched Eraserhead only recently, like in the last like 2 months or so. It's one of my favorite films.
Yeah. It is.
Easily.
It's my favorite.
Which is the film that you watched, Eraserhead.
yeah. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. This is my favorite Lynch film. I haven't seen them all, but like so far it is.
What have you seen from Lynch?
Oh Jesus, I don't know. Mulholland Drive. Eraserhead. What are his other films?
Have you seen Dune?
I haven't seen it in
Blue
full, no.
Velvet.
Yeah, I've seen Blue Velvet. Actually, no, but Blue Velvet's actually very good.
Blue Velvet
Well,
is very good.
It is very good.
Have
but
you
it's-
seen Elephant Man?
No,
Wild at Heart?
no. Well, of the 3 films, what else has he done? Inland Empire, Lost Highway,
Mulholland Drive?
Blue Velvet,
Wild at Heart?
The Stranger. What's it called?
I don't know.
Strange Story.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dune
yeah,
and Eraserhead. That's it.
yes. Well, 9.
Elephant Man.
Elephant Man. There's 9 films, is it? 9 films altogether, plus short films,
Plus Twin Peaks.
plus Twin Peaks. That's also
Plus
counted as a
also
film.
Fire
isn't it?
Walk With Me. That's 10. That's 10 of them.
That's 10 then, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Razorhead's by far the best, is what I'm trying to say. Well,
Yeah, it is.
I think it is. It's the
Well-
most. It's his statement. I think it's his most coherent.
It is both his most coherent and his most confusing MO.
Would you say?
Yes, 100%. I think like even having watched this film, I rewatched it again.
You've seen it 3 times.
I've seen it 3 times. There's still a lot of this film that I have no idea what's going on.
The fact you watched this at 8 a.m. in the morning with Aaron and
Vancouver was, you know what I mean?
That's insane.
Yeah. Go hard, you know.
Go hard to go home. Yeah, that's the only way to watch it. Oh no, yeah, but I just found it really linear. Well, it's not linear, but it's like really coherent in a way that something like Mulholland Drive. Well, I shouldn't talk about that. Blue Velvet, or like say like his short films, which are really sketchy in terms of like they're just sketches. They're just ideas.
Yeah.
And that's how it plays out. Like a lot of his films are just episodic, you know.
Yeah.
But Eraserhead is not like that at all. Where it's like a very clear kind of line running through the film, and then there's weird shit happening all around it, and there's like you don't know what's dream, what's not. It's all kind of a dream, really. But at the same time, like it's very, very ABC. Yeah,
because I watched a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is from like talking points that Nick Spears brought up in her video, because her video is great on Eraserhead. But like one of the things that her guest said on that, I can't remember what his name is. He was saying that like Eraserhead creates sets of reality, and then from that reality, which is already extremely alien, goes even further to the absurd. And that's such a great way of understanding how Eraserhead works. Because it's mad. Like, it's from the get-go, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. Because it's straight into it, you know? It's not like something where you're waiting around for something to happen.
Like, he's asking you to use a different way of looking at, of reading film, rather than, like, you know, from how every other film director works, basically.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because he started out as an artist, obviously, back in the day. Fine arts. You can tell, you know. Because I remember one time he did an interview talk about, I think the interviewer asked him, like, what makes your films so fucked up? Like, do you have, like, a fucked up brain or whatever? And he was like, no, like, I had a perfectly happy childhood, white picket fence, middle-class family. Had everything I could want, really. He's perfectly happy guy. But... And he went to fine arts college, art student, you know, just doing his thing. But there's something...
and he's a real character.
Yeah. He's not like some, like, nihilist. He's like, oh, life is meaningless.
Yeah.
It's like the dreams are the real reality. It's more like he's trying to synthesize the two, which is, like, where it leads into the whole surrealist. Like, he's called a surrealist. That's, like, his kind of, like, what people call him these days. Like, an Americana surrealism or something like that.
Lynchian,
yeah, that's the thing. Like that's literally a word. I'm pretty sure that's in the dictionary.
Like that is how to describe the way that David Lynch uses surrealism and absurdity. Is like just pure. Like it's got a word. It's Lynchian. Like that's what he does.
Exactly. Yeah. And he started out as a painter. He was originally a painter, like an artist, and he was getting more and more commissions and decided he wanted to move into film, but not like specifically making movies. But he started out with just short films.
Yeah.
And the idea was to make the painting move. So you're still working basically with the same medium, painting.
Yeah, it's just like, let's make a moving painting.
Yeah, moving painting. That's the idea. And you see that in like his early short films, like ABC, or is the one that I just always go back to. It's on YouTube. It's one where it's just his sister in bed, and it's just like, it's literally just, it's like stop motion, but it's filmed. It's not filmed. It's just photography. It's like stop motion photography, and it has like sets and like these weird kind of like visual quirks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's only a few minutes long. But then like you move into Eraserhead, and the rest of his filmography really, like you can see that there's no real. He never really bridged or made the full leap into like film, like conventional narrative cinema. Yeah, it's like it's still kind of painting where you have to approach the film like a painting, where there's no real resolution and there's not like an answer to everything like in the text, because the text is just something that you interpret, and it's supposed to be kind of like a two-way system.
And there's another thing from Nick Spears' video, he allows the emotion to direct the scene rather than the scene to direct the emotion. Yeah. Like the emotional response is the most important thing in a Lynch film. And once you identify your emotional response to the film, you can understand what's going on. because it's just an absurd, heightened version of it, and just like, oh, like the dinner table scene.
It's fucked up.
It is so fucked up, but like it's like the same thing. Just saying, it's like it is a awkward. If you were to paint this scene of a family dinner table, it'd be the most disturbing, awkward, tense painting ever created.
Yeah, exactly. But if you had a dream and you recall that image, you'd probably dream what happens in the film. Like, that's like it plays up to that kind of like dream logic that doesn't make any sense, but at the same time it does make some kind of like
this
inverted sense.
Identifiable signifiers in the film.
Yeah. Stuff that you can pick up, and there's like some sense behind it, but it's not very clear.
Yeah,
but it's always like there somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
You know,
if you don't
even have to look. You know, just kind of like soak it in.
Yeah. And just like engage with what you, not even like really hardly think about it, but just like recognize your emotional response to what's going on, and you can probably figure out what's going on.
Yeah, transcendental meditation. That's his whole thing. Recognize your emotional response, let it pass. Like that's the whole thing with meditation. He's huge into that. He's his whole like his whole own foundation dedicated to spreading the teachings of transcendental meditation,
because you can tell it in the film.
That's his philosophy, yeah, like for his entire life. But you can see it like plainly in all of his films, or especially in especially in Eraserhead.
In like same in Mulholland Drive. Same thing there. Same thing in Twin Peaks. Same thing in Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me. Same thing with all of his films, like Blue Velvet as well. Like that, the most pure example on the start of that film. Shot of ugly brown dirt with beetles and shit running through it, and there's like haunting music in the background. Sound design being a key thing throughout Lynch's work, and then it's just like this seething, sinister vibe is set, and then a shot of a white picket fence, family suburbia. I wonder what this could mean.
Yeah. It's very, very straightforward, but at the same time, I don't know. It's just done very, very well. Like Eraserhead felt like that to me. Like, it doesn't seem like there's anything like visually groundbreaking. I don't know.
Except for that baby.
The effects.
The baby alone makes this thing a 5 stars.
The effects in general are just like insane. Like I don't know how he did this with like he had no budget really, but like
5 years to make.
Yeah. They came back and did it Boyhood style, like piece by piece. But even like you have the baby. And,
Jack Torrance, is that his name?
Jack Nance.
He kept his hair like that throughout the entire course of the film.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Like 5 years he had that hair for.
That's so grim. Imagine this film didn't even hit like.
Yeah, imagine.
It's just like you just look like a fool for 5 years.
That's just a testament to how much everyone must have loved Lynch.
You had faith in what he was trying to do, yeah. But like, you have the effects like the baby and like the head at the end, which is all very like extremely disturbing, and like it's done really, really well. But you also have like the sound design. Talked about this before. Like, or before the podcast, it's like the sound design is insane. Like it's ridiculous. It's such a huge part of the film, of like the atmosphere, like that, because the film is very, very atmospheric. It's very much like you're saying. It's like
it's a vibe.
Yeah, it's very much a vibe. It's an affect that you have to sort of let yourself be carried away by, like sort of observe how it affects you. But like it's all played out in stuff like the sound design, like the set design, like all like the angular kind of like industrial setting, yeah. Like even
the music is so industrial, like the clanging, the banging.
Yeah, at all times. It's like if you feel like Jack is, or what's his name, Henry's this guy trapped in a machine, pretty much. Like he's a really, really passive character. You see that in his characterization.
He is a fucking dweeb.
Oh yeah, he's completely loser.
He's a nosebleed.
yeah, when he gets nervous, yeah. But like he's such a passive guy. Like he's going nowhere pretty much.
He's a beta.
But he's a beta male. He's a pure beta. But that's not the point, you know, because that's just his, like, that's just part of being a cog in this huge machine that you don't really see.
But you
just feel like you're inside it as well.
Yeah, but it's also how he sees himself, because that's obviously the film plays out from the perspective of Henry for the most part. But it's also like you can figure out like the type. It's still a realistic landscape, you know, this fucked up industrial wasteland.
Yeah, semi-autobiographical as well. Like he was when he first started making it, he just moved into this shit little apartment, I think, in this like bad neighborhood in Philadelphia
Mm.
with his new wife and his newborn baby, which is what this film is about. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Even because I was watching the film today and I was like, oh, number 26 is on the door for Henry.
mm.
I was like, this film took 5 years to make. I wonder how old David Lynch was when he started making this film. He was 26 when he started making this film.
He's 26.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
He was 31 when the film was released.
Well, that's all right. It gives us some time
Yeah.
to release our Eraserhead. 31. Yeah, that's mad though, because within a few years he was making studio movies and stuff. Like
Yeah,
this
like-
was huge.
Like
When it first came
10
out.
years later, he'd be making Dune.
Yeah, less. Dune was what, 84 or something. This is 77, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
He was on to Elephant Man was what, got like 8, 9 Oscar nominations. That was 3 years after this. Like
Mad.
straight away. Like,
Yeah.
he was making this tiny film with his mates for like a shoestring budget, and then within a few years he's like at the Oscars
Yeah.
doing his thing. This guy's just like the most chill guy ever. He's like just the power of meditation. You know? How did he
Sends
do
good
it?
things.
How did he do it? Because he didn't even have a marketing budget.
Yeah,
Like,
mad.
I saw that Stanley Kubrick did like a screening for this
And even
before The Shining.
John Waters loved this film. He gave it loads of props.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they all loved it. Yeah.
Mad.
But how did he even find out about it?
Maybe he's a plant.
Yeah, probably, man. CIA.
It's a psyops.
CIA.
We're all part of the psyops. Parapod is part of the psyops.
Oh yeah, well we're getting paid by the FSB or whatever that's called.
Yeah,
The Russians.
whatever. Yeah, sure. I'll take it.
I'll take whatever's coming our way.
Even a lot of the film though is very quiet and silent as well, which is major part of the sound design.
Yeah.
Like just
creepy.
creepy, ominous. The dinner table scene just stands out in my mind constantly for this film. Such a perfect encapsulation of what the entire film is doing, what the entire film is like thinking about. Like he comes in and his girlfriend is like mad awkward. She's like hysterical, and then he comes in and the mom sits him down, and it is so painfully awkward between them, and there's like a tension to it as well. Like she might just kill him. Like she could just kill Henry right now.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there.
It's so awkward, and then when the dad comes in, it's just
He's sound. He's actually sound.
he's so sound, but
Yeah.
it gets 10 times worse.
Yeah.
It's just like when he starts like shouting, the entire building starts shaking.
I thought that was really cool.
It is a cool effect, but it's just like, oh geez, this guy will fuck Henry up.
Yeah. He's actually alright though. I didn't get it, when she pulls him aside, the mom,
Yeah,
and she
starts eating the face off him.
yeah, well, she's trying to get with him.
No idea.
What was that about?
I think it's just like Freudian shit.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
Like that's how he imagined it. He wants her to want him as well.
yeah, probably.
Man, that was like one thing that I love is that it's such a post-apocalyptic, nearly industrial landscape. Yeah, clearly extremely religious when she just goes to him like as soon as she finds out that he's pregnant. Is like, well, you're gonna have to get married, and then Mary, I think her name is, she doesn't even ask him, do you want to get married? She's just like, is it okay?
And he's like, yeah, all right.
Bleed from his nose, like, yeah, your
Yeah.
mom just beat me up.
That's the life. That's the life of Henry. Like, you have to get married.
It's such a sexual film as well.
It's pure sexuality.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, at a certain point.
Like,
because-
I've never wanted to fuck a chicken before, but this film
Wait, what?
with the bleeding, that's obviously like
Oh,
vaginal
yeah,
imagery, the chickens.
Yeah.
That scene. Oh, that scene is so gross.
That makes sense, actually. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of noticed the one with when he has like a sort of rift with the wife when the baby's keeping them up, and she leaves. They don't know where she went because she's kind of like frigid. Like they're
Mhm.
married, but like she doesn't want to,
Oh, she doesn't want him.
she doesn't want to be near him at
Yeah.
all. And then he has
She's disgusted by him.
yeah, but he always has the woman across the hall as like this forbidden desire.
Literally the woman next door.
Yeah, the woman next door. Like obviously, he's like, it doesn't matter if it's like a figment of his imagination or whatever, but it just shows like the kind of signifiers going on.
Mhm.
Like this is very much like a very, very subjective film. It's not about
Yeah.
like reality. This is not a commentary on like Philadelphia in the 70s or whatever.
No.
This is like, it's inside this guy's head, and clearly has a lot of problems,
Which is funny because that's basically what 8.5 is.
Yeah, but this is way less pretentious.
This is way less like self-hating, I guess, and self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating, yeah.
Way more self-deprecating and humbling than 8.5.
Yeah.
Like the entire film of Eraserhead is like,
He's just pathetic.
Henry's a pathetic fuck.
Yeah.
And he's doing nothing, and he can't take care of anything. Like
that's actually a good point, yeah.
One of the central images of the film is there's a unpotted plant that's everywhere at your house. There's a heap of dirt and a plant on it. It's a sign of like infertility.
Yeah.
Like
impotence.
The baby looks like a sperm cell.
yeah. And he's finding like little like tadpoles and stuff in his bed and stuff.
They're all sperm cells basically, and they all mean something towards the end of the film. His awful hidden desire to the truth about himself that he can't be a dad. He's not ready to be a dad. Yeah. Maybe he never will because he's such a loser.
yeah. Like the baby is like kind of a physical embodiment of his anxiety, but like it's not just about being a dad. It's like about everything.
About everything.
Yeah.
He's going nowhere.
yeah.
Like look at his gaff. It's a shithole.
I'd take that, man. What's his rent like?
You just pay $2,000 for that in Dublin. Like.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. The Eraserhead house is just like on like rent.ie. $2,000. All mods and cons.
3-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Great views of the city. Lewis stop 5 minutes away. Fucking hell.
Oh, fucking
what do you think of the radiator thing? What was that?
Just him daydreaming.
Really?
Yeah, just daydreaming. Because, like, the woman...
Is there not something behind that?
I don't know, maybe. Nick Spears went into it a bit. I can't remember what she said, though.
All right.
But,
I thought there was something to that.
I think it's just, like something beyond... Like, there's this... Like, the radiator is literally bars. And there's something beyond in the outside world. Something greater. And it's just, like, this beautiful, deformed-looking woman. Like, 'cause she's very... You can see that there's clear beauty coming from her. But she's got these really enlarged cheeks and it's really fucked up looking. And so it's like, what you want is also kind of grotesque.
Yeah.
And she's literally stepping on sperm cells like the tadpoles. It's like...
His potency.
Yeah. Like, she doesn't want him to be a dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some interview where some interviewer asked David Lynch, like, what's the radiator?
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know, But
just a vibe.
It's just ask the Parapod. Yeah, I thought there was something to it, but there's something to everything. Like
there is something to everything. There's a reading and everything. Even the opening of this film, I love this weird
the ovum.
Rock. Yeah, whatever it is, it kind of looks like it's like an ovary or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's
the egg.
The egg. It's an egg. Yeah. It's an egg. But like. It's like a seed that's this idea in his head as well. Because it like floats in and out. It's like tips into his head and goes back out. And then it's a thought that like crosses his mind. And then it comes back and now we go into that thought that he's having, which is the film. Yeah,
the imagery is insane. I was thinking while I was watching it, like if I was in 1977 and I saw this in a theater, I'd be like blown away. Like it'd be my favorite film automatically.
It'd be like
I'd be telling everyone about it.
Never seen anything like this.
Yeah, I'd be telling everyone about it. Which is probably how everyone found out about it.
Which is how everyone found out about it. Exactly.
The imagery is just crazy.
The imagery and it's stunning. It's so nicely shot.
It's not even that like scary,
It's funny as well. Like
it's like I think it's the perfect kind of Lynchian thing where you can, like it's not that like inaccessible, like it's not even that confusing.
I don't know. I think if you didn't know anything about it,
yeah, I suppose.
If you didn't know anything about it,
well, you have to know you're going into an art film. Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like you have to know a bit about Lynch now, and have like imagine this being your first Lynch film.
Yeah,
you're like, I don't know what the fuck this is about.
Yeah, because it seems to be different to everything. After.
It is the most.
Very, very
is the most Lynchian film I've seen. Except for like certain bits of Twin Peaks: The Return.
How does it relate to that?
Oh, geez, some bits of Twin Peaks. There's an episode of Twin Peaks: The Return, and the closest thing to anything that Lynch has ever done that I could relate that episode to is Eraserhead. It is literally like an hour of Eraserhead.
That sounds great.
Yeah, but like in terms of Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks, yeah. That's great though.
Yeah. It's good
The
shit.
big man. You should make another movie like.
Man, he should. Like, the last film he made was Inland Empire, I think.
2008, 9.
Yeah.
Fuck that. You can't go off on that. That's not even that well liked, is it?
I don't know. It's, well, like, then you ain't Twin Peaks, like The Return.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So
So-
he's kind of. That's like, what, 18 hours?
Yeah, to be fair, he has made a
To be
17
fair,
hour.
yeah.
You know, I forgot about that.
Jeez, stop roasting it. We have to stop roasting
Yeah.
this guy. But he should make a
He has a
movie.
YouTube channel, man. He's too busy on that
though.
grind.
Yeah.
Trying to get that YouTube money like us all.
Yeah. What's he be doing every day, you know?
He tells you. He just gets up and he just tells the
Just
news.
gets up, yeah.
Yeah, no. I would love another David Lynch film. One more film. I would love. I haven't even seen all of his films.
Yeah.
Some of his films I don't even. I don't know watching Inland Empire.
I'm not going to watch that.
I don't want to. I want to watch everything by Lynch, but I don't want to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's loads I won't watch. Like, Wild at Heart, I probably never watched that.
Wild at Heart is pretty good. It's not great.
You've seen that, haven't you?
Yeah, it's my least favorite David Lynch film.
I'm not going to watch that then.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite David Lynch film that I've seen.
Yeah. Fuck that.
But I haven't seen Dune.
Yeah, we have to watch Dune.
I feel like I do know what's Dune.
We should have watched Dune 2 weeks ago.
We should have, but we didn't.
It's too late now.
It is too late now. Whenever Dune 2023.
2023. Yeah.
Could be even 24.
Yeah, fuck that. But yeah.
Oh,
He's a
well.
good man, though.
We could have done Jodorowsky's Dune as well.
We should have done the series.
Yeah.
Or like an episode special. We could still do that.
We could still pull it off.
We should do that with I don't know, because you can talk about that for ages, you know, like Dune versus Jodorowsky's versus the present one,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but like not really lean on the present one because
No,
we
yeah,
already
we
talked
can talk
about
about
it.
stuff that's of the past.
Yeah, exactly.
All about the past here. You know?
Yeah, fuck the future.
Fuck the future. The future is grim.
Yeah, it's Lynchian.
It is Lynchian. We are living this Lynchian hellscape.
We actually are at the moment.
It is such a great film, though. It is like for me, if I was to ever rank, if I was to do like a top 10, it's like if I was somehow to put out a top 10 list out of me, like
From
my
Lynch?
favorite films,
all time, yeah.
all time favorite films.
We should do that
I don't know if I could, man. I find that way too hard. Or I can make it
for
a
the
list.
laugh.
I could pick 10 films that they could be out of order. But if I was to rank them, if I was to force myself to do that, Eraserhead would be top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5.
I'd say pretty similar. Well,
Yeah.
like top 10 at least, anyway.
Top 10 at least. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely making the cut to top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something else. Out
Yeah.
of this world.
Mm.
Otherworldly. Better term.
I would have a like if you'd ask me one favorite film, no idea. I wouldn't have a breeze.
No. Yeah, you ever have someone ask you that?
Yeah, it's like
go blank.
I just
I just
know.
list
list like 4 films. It's like one of these ones. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know. It doesn't matter, man.
It doesn't matter.
I don't rank films.
I don't think that way, man. I'd like to think in, like, you know,
Cinema isn't something that can be quantified.
how can I pick a Dostoevsky book compared to an epic poem from Rome? It's the same thing with cinema.
Gotta use that workman smoking area.
Yeah, oh jeez, man, years.
Years of practice.
That's what built this podcast. This is Paropod, the working man's podcast.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh Jesus. We go for a break.
Yeah.
We go for that smoke break.
Oh yeah. And now for our recommended film of the week, David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. Very iconic film. Considered by many to be among the greatest films of this century, 21st century.
If not of all time.
Rita, a dark-haired amnesiac, and Betty, a perky blonde actress, team up to find clues related to Rita's accident and ascertain her true identity. That's just about the loosest,
Simplest.
simplest kind of synopsis that we could find. Because this film isn't really about the plot, as we know with Lynch. It's sort of about,
As we've gone through with the Eraserhead.
as we've already touched on with Eraserhead, it's more about emotions
Mm-hmm.
and how that drives what happens on screen and how it kind of, evokes feelings in the viewer and stuff like that, and what it says about us. But yeah, this is a fucking mad film. It's a mad film that just doesn't really make a lot of sense on the first watch. So you have to watch it a few times and also read about it probably.
I also read
But
about
it sounds kind of daunting, but it's well worth it.
It is one of the most rewarding.
Yeah.
One of the most rewarding rewatches I've ever had. Because I've seen this film before. Had no idea what this film's about. Like, and I've seen Lynch films, so I was like, I have no idea what this is about. Eraserhead made way more sense to me on the first watch than Mulholland Drive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Eraserhead's way more straightforward.
Which is confusing because that's not what you hear about Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the time you hear about Mulholland Drive, you hear it's Lynch's best work, but Eraserhead is really the difficult one. Eraserhead's really hard to understand what's going on.
I wouldn't get that.
I wouldn't get that.
I wouldn't get that.
I don't get that at all.
Yeah, Mulholland Drive, you need to really be watching it because it's a lot of because even on the insert on the DVD, because it's like a famously kind of
confusing narrative.
Yeah, confusing. It's like abstract kind of thing. So on the insert to the DVD in 2002, when they released the Blu-ray or whatever, they had Lynch write down 10 clues to sort of assist the viewer in figuring out the film.
You too could be our main protagonist. What's her name?
Betty.
You too could be Betty to unravel the mystery behind the film. You could be like Betty.
You are the detective. This is a mystery movie where you are the main character because you're the viewer and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this?
Yeah, and if I follow this trail of clues, I might be able to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that they had to put clues in the DVD insert shows the kind of film that it is. But that's not like a bad note. Like, that's not something. That's just something that tells you what the film is, or like what you're kind of expected to do, how you're supposed to like
interpret the film.
Yeah, engage, how you should engage with the film. It's not something you just watch and stick on. Really.
Especially with you engage with the first 2 hours of the film, 2 hours and 10 minutes of the film, and then
it's like nah.
Then it's like, yeah, you get it. Like, you understand what's going on. Okay, cool. Here's what it all kind of meant, which I think is why. Like, you could rewatch Mulholland Drive. I think if you want to get as much out of a first watch as you can of Mulholland Drive's mystery, you can use probably the DVD hints and watch it one time and get a lot out of it and kind of get like the bulk of it. But I genuinely think that if you rewatch Mulholland Drive the second time around, knowing all of its twists and turns, the film makes perfect sense. Like, the film makes sense, and you don't need to like do multiple readings on it.
Yeah, because I had the clues while I was watching it. I was like, this is just fucking useless. Like, this doesn't. This is like, oh, watch the coffee cup. I was like, it's just gone. Like, it's just gone past. Like, I don't know. Like, what's that supposed to mean?
I don't, because I also like saw that on my to rewatch the film. I was like, I'm gonna look up the Wikipedia page. As I started the film, and then I hit pause and I was like, wasn't there something about the beginning of the film? What was that thing that he said about this film, about the start of this film? And I clicked on, I like pulled up that DVD list and was like, pay attention to the opening of the film. It gives 2 hints and full spoilers to this film.
Oh, of course.
We are obviously going to engage with the entire plot of this film and explain what it all means.
That's the great thing about Lynch film. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Really.
Because it's still a highly enjoyable film.
Yeah.
The film starts. It's this mad sequence of someone dancing, all these people dancing with this crazy, absurd background, real bright pink. Our main character walks on, she fades out. And then...
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
And then, I don't know what that is, but what I know for certain is that the shot afterwards is like the camera fades open, like closes and opens, and the camera's like up against a bed, and then it gets up, and then it turns around, and it lies back down. So...
The pillow shot.
It is someone waking up from a dream, and then turning around, and then going back to sleep, and the film opens, and that's like, it literally tells you in the opening, which, because if you're not like fully paying attention, you're like, what the fuck is that?
That's what I did. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Because I feel like that's the beauty of like the startling start of the film, is to like confuse you, and then you get into the pillows shot, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But if you've seen it a second time and you're like, oh yeah, it's a film about a dream. The opening of the film is literally someone waking up and falling back to sleep.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes so much sense.
I was like, Lynch, you genius.
Yeah, and that's like, it's a cool kind of thing to do where like you have to, because in most of that stuff, like you think of like a mystery film, you think of, Raymond Chandler, Agatha Christie, all that stuff where it's like, ooh, yeah, who did it? It's like, and you have like red herrings and stuff.
You think
it's
of
like,
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes. You think, oh, it was actually this guy, but the clues were all there all along. Like Lynch is like, it's still a mystery film, but it's not like kind of telegraphing it.
Yeah.
It's something that you like, the details are like what you have to look out for, but it's not something that sort of points you straight in the direction of like a solid answer.
Yeah.
It's more it's just like it kind of points in a general kind of like area, and then you follow the clues, but you have to go back and watch it a few times because it's just the nature of the medium that like things just pass you by.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly, and then you like, if you miss a few things, it can be easy to get lost, I feel like.
Yeah,
in
I think so.
In this film, at least, it's a lot going on, because like there's so many, because it's all shot the same way.
Vignettes as well.
Yeah, it's all shot the way, because this originally started out as a TV pilot.
Mm-hmm.
It was shot as a TV pilot, like an hour long, and then they pulled the plug, and Lynch decided to do it as a movie instead. He had like an epiphany one night in like a dream state. Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
that's how the legend goes. He had an epiphany of how he would finish it as a film. And they got funding, I think like $7 million from Studio Canal, and they shot it a few months afterwards. And that's all sort of like the second half of the film is the new material. And like the sort of the solution is all like, he didn't have a solution when he first shot it.
Because it makes so much sense, because like it's the similar kind of vibe that season 1 of Twin Peaks has.
Yeah.
This like hyper soap opera-y vibe.
Yeah, really melodramatic.
Really dream-like.
yeah, exactly. Surreal, very surreal. And but it's all shot the same way, like Twin Peaks, very, very surreal, very, very dream-like, very,
cozy. Twin Peaks is so cozy.
Yeah. But you don't know, like there's, obviously it's like, some things are real, some aren't.
Yeah.
Like, but it's all shot kind of the same way. It's all shot like a soap opera. It's all, like the visuals themselves don't betray the idea that this is like a dream or this is any less real than any other scene. It's the same in Mulholland Drive. I haven't seen Twin Peaks, obviously, but it's kind of jarring where you have like things that are clearly dream sequences, and like obviously you get to the end of the film. A lot of the film is dream sequences, but it's not. You're not told at all. Like the film expects you to be paying attention, like at all times, which is, a kind of refreshing.
Yeah,
kind of.
That's what you want from films.
Kind of change. Yeah,
That's majority of our favorite films are films that expect you to fucking watch them.
Yeah, exactly.
And pay attention. This isn't something you can just like. This isn't a cosmic sin where you're gonna forget about this fucking thing 4 days later.
Yeah.
This is a film that you're still gonna be thinking about 4 days later, and that hopefully you will continue to think about. When Lynch gets his little hooks into you.
Yeah, his little fingernails. You definitely
they drive right in.
Oh yeah. Punished Lynch.
But even like even on my first watch, even when I found it, I didn't know what was going on. There's certain things that I did latch onto immediately, and that's obviously the idolized dreamlike version of Hollywood and the Hollywood story that we are experiencing. Like Betty is a bright-eyed, blue-eyed blonde coming into LA, and she's starry-eyed looking at everything going by. She gets in, she's like, she hops into a cab, and the cab driver's already got her bags in the taxi. He's like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, Hollywood, baby. And then she goes in, and like she when she arrives onto the Hollywood lot, she shows up to a director. The director's there. There's no like it's
all too perfect.
It's all too perfect. Everything is too perfect. They're like, "You're an incredible talent."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, I am. I'm great. Everyone sees how great I am." And she lands into almost getting the part for a major film, but because of outside forces beyond her control, conspiracy theories, corruption,
the mafia.
That's why she didn't get the role, because it was outside Hollywood forces had decided it's going to be someone else. And then she goes off. I first watch of watching this was like, I can see what's going on, like with that sense of it.
that it was gonna be in her head, like.
Not even that, but like that, I was like, this is a piss take of like the Hollywood dream. It's not the American dream that it's taking the piss out of. It's taking piss out of the Hollywood dream.
Yeah, I thought it would just be, because I've seen parts of it before. I thought it would have been just a straight critique of Hollywood and the way it sort of like chews up and spits out like young women in America and stuff like that. But it isn't really that at all.
No,
it's more
not.
like her, like it doesn't really have any. It doesn't come down either way on that kind of issue. But
Well, I feel like at the end of the film it does.
yeah, but like that's not what it's about, you know. It's more about her. Like it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's
It's in her head, like the
Yeah.
whole film, not just like in a literal sense, but like also like the text itself it's about a very subjective kind of thing. It's like Eraserhead, where it's all about how she's perceiving the world around her. It's not
or how she's dreaming about the world around her.
Yeah.
How she wants this idolized version of it.
Yeah, and even the parts that aren't dream sequences or like explicitly dream sequences, it's still like it's about how she's perceiving these people and like the situation. It's not necessarily about like the social kind of implications of what's happening around her, you know. So, you know, very confusing film though.
Very confusing film. Very confusing film. Because even like I obviously did, like after watching it the second time, I then did a bit of reading on the film, and one thing that I never picked up on was the fact that the amnesiac, what's her name?
Rita.
You know, when we find out at the end of the film that, you know, what's actually going on, that this is a dream and what she's dreaming about, which we'll get onto later on. But like when that's revealed, and then you rewatch the film, like Rita in the dream is literally super reliant on Betty.
Yeah, that actually makes so much sense.
That makes so much, like, this is the thing that I'm talking about. Like when you like read it, like, you watch this the second time, like Lynch is a fucking genius, because like the fact that Rita is completely reliant on Betty, she's amnesiac, she's a blank slate for Betty to sculpt into whoever she wants her to be, which is the complete opposite of what Betty or Rita's like and what Betty's like in reality.
Yeah, Rita's not even a real name, you know, because the whole thing is what's her name, fucking Betty shows up at her like her granny's gaff or whatever, and she's obviously new in Hollywood.
Her auntie's gaff.
She's trying to make it big. She finds this woman there, Rita, and she's turns out she's an amnesiac and she's actually not supposed to be in the gaff, but Betty lets her stay.
Like, I'll help you figure out who you are.
So she's
entirely
like,
I'll help you.
yeah she's entirely Rita is entirely reliant on Betty in like a material sense, but also she's a completely blank slate. She's no memory. She can be sculpted and sort of like, you know, perverted in any way that Betty wants, which is the exact opposite of what or sort of it's a mirror of what's happening in the real world, which is shown later on in the film, where Rita is actually someone called Camilla Rhodes, and Betty's actually someone called Diane Selwyn, and Diane is a spurned lover of Camilla.
She's a failed affair,
and she's actually a struggling actress who can't get any work, and she's like a complete failure. And Hollywood is like, you know,
Hollywood has chewed her up and spat her out.
Chewed her up, yeah, it's fucked her up. And so the entire first 2 hours is just
the dream. Yeah,
it's a dream, but like it's also like, you know, it's not like
it's slowly turning into a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because
like, it's not just like a soap opera kind of thing where it's like, it was all a dream. It's like every character in every situation, every vignette is reflective of
the fact that it's a dream.
Yeah, of the fact that it's a dream, but also like the people that she knows in real life, and each character within the dream sequences is also at the same time a reflection of herself.
Yeah,
of the like they're all her.
They're all her.
They're all her.
They're all her because they're all how she views other people. So how she sees someone not only tells you something about how she sees them, but about her.
How she sees herself.
How she sees herself, because they're fragments of her subconscious.
I thought that was the best.
Yeah.
The best thing about it. That was really cool.
Even like I think even like the way that she views, because in the real world, Camilla's who is Rita, Camilla's husband is Justin Theroux, who's also in the dream sequences, and in that he can't satisfy his wife. Fucking Billy Ray Cyrus is fucking his wife.
Yeah, and fucks him up.
And
throws him out the gaff.
He's impotent, he's weak. He is Henry in Eraserhead, basically.
Yeah.
And then in reality,
he's fucking Camilla.
He's fucking Camilla.
And they're gonna get married.
And Betty's pissed.
Yeah, because like she's been spurned. You know, this is her like. like not only like romantically, but this is also the woman that is like above her station in like the sort of the Hollywood strata. It's also
Yeah.
the woman that beat her to the role of the main role on the Sylvia North Hour or whatever. It was like
Which is what she's dreaming
which is
of getting.
the audition that she sees in the dream where
Yeah.
she just like she plays it off perfectly and they're like, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
But in real life, Camilla actually got the role, and now she's just completely shaken off Betty, and she's like marrying some fella, and basically, or Betty Diane, whatever her name is completely fucked.
Yeah.
And the dream is all about, it's both reflective of reality and reflective of her fantasies, and like her insecurities in herself. It's a lot going on. Psychoanalysis.
So much going on. And surreal. And because of, in reality, what ends up happening, because Diane has been fucked up so much because of this, she hires a hitman to kill Camilla. And she's told, when the job is done, you get this blue key. And the blue key is a recurring theme throughout Mulholland Drive, through the dream sequences. The blue key is what Rita has in her purse. It's the only thing that she's found with that she has. She's got her handbag, got a wad full of cash, and a blue key. The mystery, the clues. What does that all mean? And the blue key obviously symbolizing the truth, the dark, disturbing, fucked up truth that you had this woman murdered.
Yeah. Called a hit,
Mm-hmm.
which is like something she can't accept. Which is the whole thing with the way the dream sort of plays out. Because you can kind of see that as like the dream part as like the pilot.
Yeah.
Or like it's like they attach like a sort of an ending onto it as well. But like you have at the end of the dream sequence, it doesn't resolve because they find the key and was it Rita goes to open the box
And the dream ends.
and then the dream ends because it's like real dreams. A dream can never resolve because it's just a thing that plays in your head and there's no ending until you die. Yeah, it's just like you just wake up and that's it. There's no like perfect. There's no act structure. There's no perfect resolution. Everything that happens in the dream can never properly resolve. Even in real life, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like even the way when she's in the real sequence when Diane is at the dinner with Camilla and Adam, Justin Theroux's character, when they're about to announce that they're getting married, but they never actually get to announcing it.
Yeah, because
they're like laughing at her, which is another thing she like an insecurity that she has. But it's just like it's like a commentary on like structure, like act structure, like artistic kind of conventions that you apply to real life and to dreams, but they never actually apply.
Mm-hmm.
They don't actually
you're
work.
Forcing a structure. You're
projecting it onto.
Yeah, you're projecting a story onto something that isn't a story.
Yeah, it's just
happening.
Yeah, it's just happening. Yeah, it's just pure experience.
It's just something that happens,
Uh-huh.
and there's no conceivable way to view it. Except for forcing it into a generic narrative.
A little blue box.
I like the way that it is literally that like when she like Rita opens Pandora's box basically, and all hell is raised.
yeah. Because she wakes up into this hellish life that she lives.
Modern Hollywood.
This modern world.
Yeah, it's such a great film. On rewatch as well because in the dream and in reality, Betty and Rita, Diane, Camilla, they be gay.
Oh yeah.
And they be fucking and and when you have the sex scene in this film on rewatch, man,
so erotic.
It's like it's so erotic, right? But on rewatch, it is so sad.
Oh yeah.
Like when I
read that.
Like when what it is like this is so, and the music that they use in the sex scene is the music that they use when Camilla is leading Diane up to the party. It's just the two of them walking up the road or walking up this forest steps. It's like you're walking through a wonderland, and the music is soft and gentle, reflecting of the sex scene that we've had beforehand, and the shots of fucking Camilla. It's so confusing with all the names of Camilla are like. It's very obvious, like Diane is falling in love with Camilla, like she is pure in love with her, and this is like this perfect moment, and then afterwards it's revealed that like she kills her. So like the tragedy of seeing that sex scene play out in her, like this fantasy that she's having in her head is like, oh, this is so sad.
Yeah, because I was reading about that. The actress who plays Rita / Camilla. was because it's like it's like an iconic scene,
Yeah,
like the sex scene, but they're
because it's really hot.
yeah, but they're talking about it like in a magazine. She was talking about like the implications, because there's loads of there's like reams written about this in like queer cinema and like, like studies, and like, you know, the reviews apparently were just like trying to like outcompete each other with how much they enjoyed the sex scene. But like she was talking about how it just, when she rewatched it at the premiere, she was just like nearly crying because it's actually really sad in when you know what the ending is.
So sad.
Yeah, which I thought is pretty cool. Like it just, that's another thing, like the way it requires it's something that you need to like, you know, look closely at.
It's a film that you actually need to watch twice.
Yeah.
Because it is completely the first, like, because for the first 2 hours, like, this is mad confusing, but I'm enjoying it because of the mystery of like what's going on. Like, they're gonna resolve it, and then when you hit with that opening, the awakening, I should say, of Diane, the dream is shattered. Sorry, excuse me. You're just like, you're kind of immediately having to recontextualize everything that you've seen because it's explaining to you what it all meant. And you're like, oh, that's a dream. Oh, so it was all a dream. Okay, whatever. But then to actually know what that means going in a second time, that first 2 hours is like a completely different film.
Yeah, it's totally different. Even the way towards the end of the dream, you have Rita. Rita dons like a little, or no, Betty puts a blonde wig on Rita.
Yeah.
And they go to the cinema, or to
Silencio.
Club Silencio. But like that's Rita, or not, that's Betty putting herself. It's sort of like, it's like the dream unraveling slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rita slowly becomes Betty.
Yeah.
Like she has the blonde wig on, and they're watching this performance in Club
It's
Silencio.
all an illusion.
Yeah, it's all an illusion. It's like this art performance where these performers get up on stage and they're singing and they're dancing and stuff, but it's all recorded. They're just like miming, and like eventually,
but it's perfect recording.
Yeah, it's a perfect recording. They all fall back like after, like in the middle of the song, but the song keeps playing. It's just like revealing the artifice, like the fact that this is all an illusion.
Yeah.
And like meanwhile, you have Betty and Rita sitting out in the crowd crying, like sobbing, crying, because they realize this isn't real.
Yeah.
Because that's like shortly after that she wakes up.
Yeah. The dream
fucked.
isn't real.
It's all an illusion.
It's all an illusion. That bit is so sad on rewatch, because you're watching it first and you're like, what does this mean? And then second watch, like, the entire film has been an illusion. The entire film has been a dream. Two Bettys are watching a performance like reveal itself to be an illusion. Like the dream,
in their head, yeah.
The dream isn't real.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And it's
why
also,
was it in Spanish though?
I don't know.
Crying, Roy Orbison. Why was it in Spanish?
Probably a reason for that.
Probably is David Lynch.
Yeah, there has to be.
Because he always has. He's like Blue Velvet. And, like, crying.
There's a reason for it. I'm sure there is. But yeah, and that's like the blame. That's like the dream reading of the film. They have the entire thing about Hollywood, like what Lynch is talking about with Hollywood, the Hollywood dream. He has like classic golden age actors in the film. He has it. He like oh my god, fucking hell! It's a really famous film,
Sunset Boulevard.
That's something that takes place in the film. There's loads of hints back to that film because it is also about someone being lost in the dream of starhood.
Yeah, you even have in the dream you have a character called Camilla Rhodes, but she's just like some random, like, you know, pretty actress who steals Betty's role. But that's it's not Rita, but it's a reflection of real life where Camilla did steal her role.
Yeah.
And she's the object of Betty's hate. But in the dream world, Rita, or what's her name, Camilla can't be that. So she's split into two different characters.
Yeah.
Where she's both Rita, like the object of lust, like the blank subject that she can mold into whatever she wants, and also her enemy.
Yeah, that
like
bitch that stole my role.
Yeah, her rival, like her professional rival. So like, it's all her.
Mm-hmm.
It's all Diane. At the end of the day, it's Diane Selwyn.
Yeah.
It's all in her head. Every character is her.
It's great.
Very cool. Very cool stuff.
What did you think about the dumpster scene?
Man, that was scary.
It's scary as fuck, isn't it?
I had no idea. I was watching that. I was like, what does this have to do with the film? It was nothing to do with the film.
But then at the end of the film, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But even when I saw that, I was like, what? Like, that's your man. Because the diner scene, it's like it's a vignette out of nowhere, a non-sequitur. How would you say that? I don't know what the word is, but
Yeah,
it's
non-sequential.
Yeah. It's a scene which has nothing to do with the rest of the film. Basically, it's at this place called Winky's. Well, it does have something to do, but like when you first see it, it's just out of nowhere.
No idea.
Out of nowhere, complete tangent, and it's at this place called Winky's, like a little diner, and you have this guy, and I think there are two detectives, and there's this one guy talking about how he's like really nervous, and he had a dream about a monster behind.
He's seen a man doing an awful thing.
Yeah.
Behind a dumpster.
Behind a dumpster, like behind Winky's, behind the diner, and they go out and they look for it, and like they have this like incredible like scare kind of sequence.
But it's slow.
Yeah, it's slow, but it's like oh.
Your monkey brain just goes, your monkey brain just shouts run.
You're like, what is that? It's just a homeless person, but
they're real dirty.
Yeah, extremely dirty.
And the music is out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the music. But at the same time, you're in this like it's a dream sequence. It's not made clear at that point, but it's a very dreamy vibe. It's a very surreal film.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're in that kind of like dream zone. So you see this and you're like, it's a nightmare. Yeah, it's kind of like accessing some weird part of your brain where you're like, this is just not right. Like this, it had a feel of like a nightmare where everything's like fine, or everything's a bit off maybe.
It's a bit tense.
And then something happens and you're like, what the? You wake up and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. The scene cuts, and you don't see the guy who was nervous about the monster behind the dumpster till the very end, or like about 50 minutes before the end. He's in the diner when Diane calls the hit on Camilla.
Yeah.
He's just some random guy.
He's some random guy that she turned around and she saw at the cash register.
And she extrapolated the backstory based off just seeing this guy. Yeah. And the fact that she was living through a traumatic experience, just having to call this hit on like her ex-lover.
And the hitman says, when you'll find the blue key behind the dumpster, or he says like you find the key behind where I said it would be, which is like obviously Winky's, because then it's revealed, it shows later on her walking around the dumpster, whatever. But like that being a site of trauma that is reacting, that is within the dream sequence as well, within the dream that she's having, which is the film. Like it's a traumatic part in the film. Like it's a very scary scene. Like everyone that's seen this film has talked about the dumpster scene because it makes you shit yourself. Like it's scary.
Yeah.
You don't expect it. And then that being the spot where she is confirmed that Camilla's dead, makes sense.
yeah. I didn't know that at all. That makes a lot of sense.
It's good again. Like,
it's
and
dreams,
she's just a genius. Like it's just how the use of dream logic is great.
Yeah. It really feels like it really has that kind of vibe. Makes you feel kind of like it's kind of cozy in a way because it's cool to know. It's cool to kind of have that reflected back. Like, everyone has dreams. Yeah. But everyone kind of has the same dreams.
Yeah, you have weird
Isn't that a bit weird?
Dreams, yeah.
Or the same, like, dream logic. Isn't that weird how that's a thing?
Yeah.
Like, something that we have no pretext. Like, there's no reason you should know what that is, but everyone knows what it is.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bit... I find that really cool. And
Lynch
is all about
suspicious. Something suspicious.
Yeah, man. It's the elves.
It's the elves, man. Those
the machine elves.
4D elves.
Yeah. DMD, man. But yeah.
Mad.
But the funny thing is, Lynch is always on about how... Because obviously he's into meditation and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's like... sleeping while awake, pretty much.
Yeah.
But he comes up with his ideas apparently like completely... like he doesn't get his ideas like a burst of inspiration while he's asleep. Like he just daydreams apparently. Yeah. And just like looks... like just sits there thinking. So like he's dreaming, but he's like is daydreaming. It's not actually like he's not
I know
asleep.
What you mean.
I thought that was weird.
Which is probably a great way that he can like if you daydream a lot and you like really focus on the fact that you're daydreaming and you're a good artist, you could probably replicate the vibe of daydreaming, which is what David Lynch does a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like the flow of like how his movies move.
Yeah. Which is weird how like it's completely intuitive, but yeah, everyone kind of gets it. Yeah. If you look into it, if you kind of let your dream brain.
Yeah, if you just like vibe. Most of the time it is. It's just vibe with it.
Pretty much every time. That's pretty much the meaning of all these classic films.
Yeah, if you just like chill out.
Yeah, just vibe.
Just, relax. Chill out, like. Just relax. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
We move on to listener questions.
Oh, yeah, we will.
If you want to ask us a question, give us feedback, give us a present, a cozy present on these dark November nights, you can email us at theparopod@gmail.com, or you can contact us on Instagram or Twitter at @paro_pod. Please send us your questions, much like the lovely Rachel, who asks us, what is our favorite movie trailer?
Favorite movie? That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Because trailers are an underappreciated art form, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. I think a trailer, in a lot of ways, makes a movie. It sets the,
Sets the tone.
It sets the tone. It sets a marker down. You know what you're going to expect.
Tells you, here's what you can expect, but not everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Not all the plot points.
Yeah. My favorite would definitely be Superman. Man of Steel.
Man of Steel trailer.
2013. It looked class. It looked amazing. It looked like grim, like dark Superman movie, but also it looks really good, and it has like aliens and stuff in it. But like, it's not. It had like General Zod and all, but it wasn't like, oh, he's fighting Superman, and this is like, it wasn't just revealing everything about it. Because if it did reveal everything about it, we would have known that the film wasn't very good. But instead, it just evoked things. It evoked things, and it evoked something about a very iconic character that everyone knows. Which is why they understood the assignment. You don't need to be going, Superman.
Here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, here's what's going to happen. He's going to do this, and then he's going to fight this guy, and then he's going to win. It's sort of like, it set like a mythic kind of tone. Another one that I really liked was Godzilla 2016.
That is the one I was thinking of.
It was an amazing trailer.
Great trailer.
Amazing trailer.
Very good trailer that missold the film.
False advertising, really.
Some might argue.
Yeah.
But a great trailer.
Yeah. That was really good. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was so hyped for that film, and they just let me down.
Shut the bed.
They just shot the bed, like.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Godzilla one.
Yeah.
That was going to be one of my. I can't think, because trailers are
those
hard
are the two ones that stick in my head.
Same.
Like.
They're the two that stick out in my head. I wanted to watch the Underworld movies with Iz. On the weekend we didn't. We watched Paddington 2 instead. But regardless,
next week is your week.
Next week is my week. So I was like, oh, can we watch Underworld? Because I'm in the mood to watch something a bit shit. No, sorry, watch The Losers instead. We didn't watch Paddington 2. Watch The Losers, which is a fucking awful movie.
The Losers.
I remember, that's a trailer that I remember from when I was younger. There's a shot. I just thought there was a cool shot of
is this one with Chris Evans in it?
Chris Evans is in it. Yeah, he is, and Idris Elba's in it, and the guy that played the guy with the bat in Walking Dead. What's his name? Negan.
Oh, Negan. Yeah.
Negan. Yeah. He plays Negan. I can't remember. He's got a really famous name. Can't remember his name. But he's also in a really awful film, really bad movie. But I remember the trailer so much, and Iz also remembered the trailer. So she was like, "Oh, I want to watch The Losers," and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to watch The Losers as well. Regret that. Regret that so bad. I should let the trailer live. Just remember as pure as my 12-year-old brain could remember it. But so we watched the trailer to Underworld. You want to see a 2000s era trailer. You watch the Underworld trailer. Oh my God.
Weren't the trailers bad back then?
Some might say bad. Some might say peak shit. Like the cream of the crop of shit.
Creamy shit.
Let me tell you. It's
diarrhea.
Like the voiceover. It literally begins, in the world. In a world. And like that's how it begins. And it's like two worlds that could never collide. Like fast cut. Yeah. Man, the shit looks like it's obviously a rip-off of The Matrix as well. Yeah. Like it's a post-Matrix movie as well as being a 2000s movie. Oh, flaming hot shit. Can't wait to watch that film. That's a great trailer though. Everyone should watch the Underworld trailer.
In a world.
In a world. Literally begins like that. What was I had a film, Blair Witch is one of my favorite trailers.
Blair Witch? I don't think I saw the trailer. I can't remember anyway.
I remember the trailer. I've talked about that when we were talking about the Blair Witch films, but I love that trailer.
That's just one with a face, isn't it?
Scared the fucking piss out of me. I can't think of any other ones. I remember like some horror film trailers used to scare the shit out of me, like the Friday the 13th trailer, the remake. But certain trailers like that when I was younger, I just remember trailers when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know?
You ever see the trailer for You're Next?
No, I haven't seen that.
The indie horror film. Good
Yeah.
film, but the trailer is quite different. It doesn't, because the film's kind of a comedy as well,
Yeah.
but the trailer doesn't play it off that way, or at least from what I can remember. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I remember being very kind of like struck by the trailer, because it looked like a really kind of I had "Perfect Day" by Lou Reed was like the song for it, and then it was like Kills kind of synced to the beat of the music,
Yeah.
and it looked really cool, but looked really scary. But it wasn't actually. This film isn't actually that scary.
No, it's not. It's just like a
It's kind of
slasher.
like
kind of.
subversive kind of slasher. Yeah.
Even the trailer to Suicide Squad, like the first Suicide Squad, that's a
Man.
great trailer.
Yeah, that's an amazing
With
trailer.
the Queen soundtrack, great trailer.
Oh, the other one, the one before that.
The slower one that we were
The
talking about
slower
before.
one,
Yeah.
Well, they're both very good.
They're both good.
But they're both, they both present different movies, which the actual film wasn't.
Yeah, they were both evocative. They both set a tone and a vibe that the film wasn't.
Yeah.
The Halloween Kills trailer was so bad.
Yeah, that was too accurate.
What
Yeah.
are some really bad trailers?
Bad trailers.
Didn't Revenge of the Fallen, didn't that trailer like reveal that Optimus Prime dies in that film?
I can't remember.
I think it did.
Yeah.
It's like spoiled like the death of Optimus Prime.
That was one of the worst films ever made, though.
That film is so bad.
The balls and
The
stuff.
balls.
And the Mexican cars.
I think we might rewatch those films.
That would be funny.
They're really long though.
Yeah, they're actually so long. Yeah.
They're like 2.5 hours each.
Revenge of the Fallen. That film was such a pile of shite.
That was my favorite movie when I was a kid.
Really? I loved Transformers.
Because I owned it on DVD. I love that movie. And when I was older, and they're like, Revenge of the Fallen is one of the worst movies ever made. I was like, no, it's not. It's a great film. Now I've gotten old. I'm like,
It is.
it is.
It went on for so long.
Oh,
But Transformers 1 is very, very good. I remember the trailer for that.
that is very good.
I remember when I saw that. I remember seeing that in cinema somehow. Wouldn't back in 2006. Like I remember seeing it. I thought it was something else for some reason. But I remember seeing it. I was like, this looks class. And it actually is really good.
Trailer to Cloverfield is also very good.
Yeah. I remember thinking that was a Godzilla. But it kind of is.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It's a kaiju movie.
Mm.
That's the thing, right? It's very hard for us to talk about trailers from like the 80s and shit. I have no idea what those trailers are like. I can remember.
They all look terrible, to be
I
fair.
can only remember the trailers from the 2000s
Yeah.
because I've only ever seen those trailers. I didn't even
Yeah.
see. I'm not going back and watching the trailers of The Exorcist. Like, what am I doing that for?
But man, ever see any of them? Like, they're all like 4 minutes long.
Yeah,
They just
they're really long.
explain the film.
Yeah,
And they're like, you have to see this. And then it's like the first half of the film. And then it's like, they're coming this summer. And then
Yeah.
it's like the second half of the film. And it's just like, out soon, It's just like, what's the point of this?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. There's an art to
But
trailers.
Back in the day, you didn't have the internet, so you just forget
Yeah.
about it as soon as you saw it.
Yeah, I'm
Those
looking.
were all like goldfish back then.
No memories. Yeah. And do you want to take our next question?
Yeah, our next question's coming in from Barry, and he's asking, what is the oldest piece of media that you would hold on to? So we're thinking video cassettes, video game consoles, stuff like
DVDs.
that. DVDs. We have recordings, TV recordings of Star Wars from the early 2000s, maybe the late 90s. I feel like I'd hold on to them purely for historical preservation purposes.
Yeah, because you can't watch those anymore. Like,
Can you?
the versions that are on the cassettes and the
because they don't
and
have the
DVDs,
CGI.
they don't have the
add-ins.
CGI.
Yeah. So I'd probably hold on to them. I haven't seen them in a very long time, but they're there anyway.
Yeah.
So also Shrek 2 VHS and Shrek 1. I'd hold on to them.
I don't know if we have any VHS tapes anymore. I don't know if we have them. I would love if I was able to pull them out from somewhere. I don't know if we have them though.
We only have like 3, and the two Shreks are 2 of them, I think.
I feel like I might have Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island.
Yeah.
And Peter Pan was one of them and Dumbo was another. PlayStation 2 for me.
You still have it?
I still have it. My first PlayStation 2. Have it still hooked up downstairs. And I still have some games I had from it. I have Spyro. Dragon's Tale.
Spyro,
That was the first game I think I got on PlayStation 2.
Jeez.
I still own that game.
That's gas.
Still have it downstairs. I'd never get rid of that.
Do you have Simpsons?
Simpsons Hit and Run I still have. Yeah.
That's a class game.
It's a class game. So good.
It's mad that they haven't remastered that.
Mad. I don't know why they haven't.
That doesn't make any sense because huge following.
Huge. If you remade that game,
you'd make mint.
It must be something to do with the developers or whatever, like the contract or the license to Simpsons isn't with them.
Yeah, probably.
But at that stage, surely the fuck, like, there's enough.
Surely
Disney are just like, here,
make a new one, like just remaster,
remake that film, remake that game.
Yeah.
Because that'd be class. That'd be so good.
Yeah, should do like a Lion King treatment. It's like live action, you know. It's like horrifying.
Yeah, it's like that episode where like the Trios of Horror, where Homer goes into the 3D world and he ends up in the real world. It just looks like that.
Yeah.
You see, they remade the Grand Theft Auto games.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, they look really weird.
Do they? I saw one where if you do first person mode and you look
saw
behind
that,
each other,
yeah.
it's just like your man's like his face.
CJ's face is in the camera.
Yeah, that looked funny.
Yeah, I don't know how they did the remakes of those games, but obviously they used the groundwork from the PlayStation 2 games, which is madness.
Yeah,
or maybe like because it was released on PlayStation 3, so maybe they used that.
Is it PS3? Is it not?
It was. They re-released it on the PlayStation 3.
Oh right, yeah.
Like I don't know if they. It's a port of it.
Yeah,
they ported it.
Yeah. It's pretty on PS5 as well. I'll have to have a look.
Probably is, yeah.
Yeah. Sure, all the source code is there, you know.
Yeah, you haven't used a PlayStation 5 at all, except for to use PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah.
No, I'd never go to that. There's so much nostalgia with it.
Yeah, exactly. You know? It's an artifact. It carries weight, emotional weight.
Cassettes. When are they going to make a comeback? Videotapes.
I don't know.
I think they're gone.
Yeah, I don't think people like them.
I think even DVDs are for the most part.
Yeah, because they're just shit Blu-rays, aren't they? You know?
They're shit Blu-rays.
At least vinyl has like you can appreciate. It's like a different dimension to it because it sounds like better in some cases. Yeah, it sounds better or like different at least.
Compressed.
Yeah, it was videotape. It just looks shit, you know.
Yeah, it looks shit.
It has an aesthetic to it, but beyond that,
H. Bomber Guy's a really good video about him and Strutchy Films. They did a video together. One of their Scanline ones is what it's called. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there was this whole thing in it. Really good idea of the use of like shitty video quality for horror films can actually be quite effective. Because especially with Alien is the example that he gave in that video, where he's talking about how you can with like if you're watching Alien on a HD 4K, you can clearly see the alien throughout the entire thing. But if you have a shitty video tape of it, you can't. The quality isn't good enough to pick up the entire alien. So there's like bits of it that you're not quite sure what the alien looks like.
Yeah.
Which is a cool.
You have to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, something lost in that, in the like in all the for horror. Like there's so much that you can see for the pristine quality that like the only way that you can do is to make it dark, or you just have like, or alternatively back in the day, just have it look like shit and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like no one's gonna see it. Anyway. Yeah, there's definitely something there, but I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we leave it at that.
We'll leave it there this week anyway.
Recommended film for episode 57. 67. Oh no.
60, yeah.
Our recommended film for after that, episode 69.
It's coming out at Christmas.
It's coming out the day after Christmas. We're going to recommend a porno. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. That'd be funny though.
It'll be a white Christmas.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh jeez. All right. Well, for episode 67, it's gonna be Spike Jonze's Being John Malkovich.
Being John Malkovich.
Continue on the
cerebral
trend of cerebral, because we're going from a film from the 60s, film Lynch, two film directors that I imagine would heavily influence Kaufman, who was the writer to Being John Malkovich, and even Spike Jonze as well, but for that film anyway. A lot of history there, a lot of stuff we can talk about. 1999.
Yeah, big year.
Big birds were made that year, let me tell you.
A lot happened. Yeah, I've never seen it, so I can't wait to see it. I've heard a lot.
I don't really like Kaufman, so.
Oh, yeah.
Good lad.
We'll have a good laugh anyway.
Right, we'll leave it at that, so.
We'll leave it there. I'll see you next week.
Bye.